talking about security levels at churches. Of course, we've all seen the huge security presence outside, say, the Madeleine, Notre Dame, on evenings like Christmas Eve. What can be done at rural churches such as this one, provincial churches in towns like Saint-Étienne-du-Rouvray, to prevent people walking in? I mean, surely the point of this church is that it is open to everyone at all times.
I think that's exactly it. And I mean, it is a very fundamental thing that when you have a church, and particularly as has been said by some of your contributors, particularly when you're having Mass on, there are some things you would imagine, such as the celebration of the Mass, that are sort of off limits to whatever conflict is going on. And we're in the same position in all the parishes, especially since the events of 2015, and now they unveiled or they discovered the possible attack on Sacré-Cœur in 2015 and at Villejuif, the various places. We've been warned here, naturally, to be prudent, to be careful. But as you say, people are coming to worship in big, big numbers here, and there's a lot of children coming too, and naturally people are concerned. But it's a very, very difficult call to make. I think the only thing which would break my heart would be if we ever had to say, that's it, we can't do this anymore, and I hope that that never happens.
The other tragic aspect, new aspect, and this is, of course, the fact that this priest had his throat slit. That has proven very shocking here in France. Father, we've seen an awful lot of reaction on that specific question over the course of the day on social media in particular, with some of the quotes of the priest involved being cited. He had apparently said, "Had you ever heard of a priest retiring? I will give Mass until my last breath."
Yeah, I think I obviously never knew the man, Lord rest him, and my prayers with his family, with his parishioners, with everybody associated with the Diocese of Rouen. But I mean, a man who could have stepped down at 75 and said, listen, I have put in my time in the Lord's vineyard. And to think that he deliberately asked, can I stay in a parish where I can still be of help? And when his parish priest needs to get a break to go on a holiday, he says, don't you worry, I'll be there to do it. I think people are talking about martyrdom and sainthood. I think that's quite right too. But I think this man was a saint anyway, because I think the selfishness in any of us could easily say, I've really done my bit. I've done my shift of work. But I mean, it almost brings tears to my eyes to think that I have colleagues like that who, after all those years, have never lost the enthusiasm. When you think of some of the scandals that we priests have perpetrated, and then you have wonderful shining examples like this man, all you can do is say, God is still with us, and may he rest in peace, because he has been and is, for I hope future generations, a shining example of what a good human being can be and what a good priest can be.
And yet, Father, of course, it is crucial at a time like this not to fall into the trap set almost by the Islamic State group of dividing, allowing ourselves to be divided further. How does the Catholic Church tread that very fine line between condemning what happened today on one of its institutions to one of its own without going on the offensive against groups like the Islamic State?
I think, in my own position, very briefly, I spent 8 years in Belfast in the midst of an awful lot of conflict. And one thing I did learn was this: there is no solution to conflict by introducing more conflict. Even though it seems crazy on a day like this, you have to have a mind and a heart and a hand ready to reach out. If we don't, we're all finished. And it's not just a religious matter. This is French society. Okay, I'm an immigrant here too because I'm Irish, but I love it. And I think that's what we've got to keep saying. Do not let us be backed into our sectarian corners, because if we do, it's terribly hard to get out of them. So when I open the door of the church tomorrow morning, and if a Muslim person wants to come up and speak to me, then I have to be ready to receive them. And I think that's the only way forward. Anything else is exactly right as what's held in your question. We are backing ourselves into corners, and it's amazingly easy to get into them, but it's terribly hard to come out of a corner.